As the election kicked off, Dutton introduced himself like this.
As a police officer, I learned the importance of turning up when it matters. I'm not interested in taking the easy path because we live in the best country in the world and I'm determined to get Australia back on track.
Oh my God, did he arrest his own nan? Ever since we met the real Julia, we've known that when a campaign is in trouble, you reintroduce yourself. So this weekend, Dutton lifted the lid on his softer side, something he's done a lot over the years. So how mushy is Dutton? I am an emotional person. Oh, Annie, can you sell cute as a Dutton?
You know, my question is that, why are they doing this? Dutton's vote is not on the downturn because they think he's too tough and needs to sell his soft side. It's on the downturn because they think he's flip-flopping. And so instead of, telling his strengths, which are... he's got a good story, he's got a good family, he's got a good record, but they've given that away in this ad. And so with a minute to midnight, they're trying to say, hey, don't worry about what we've said about this strong personality here, this determined person. Let's look at what the cute little bunny's saying. It just doesn't work. And it's very rare in political parties that you have two leaders of the party for the whole time. The Liberals have had 3 years to tell the Dutton story. As I said, it is a really good story to tell, but it's been the worst brand launch I've ever seen, and to then try and change it at the end as if he's the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is they haven't got their act together.
Yeah, I think this whole idea is crazy. So you've got to burn the platform. You've got to say that Australia's not going very well, and here is a leader, here's a tough guy, and the tough guy is actually quite important because you know what? Someone might have to take on, I don't know, people in our north, right? So as soon as the Chinese start doing laps of Australia...
Oh, I thought you meant Townsville.
Right, no. That was... I'm talking about the opportunity to win. That to me was the opportunity to win. And first impressions matter. It's very hard to get rid of first impressions. And the first impression of Dutton over a long period of time is he is a tough guy, right? And he does make tough calls. And he's a former cop. But maybe we might need that person to be the leader.
That's what it should have lent into,
I genuinely can't understand... maybe I can understand why they did this, because they got research telling them that they needed to, but you need a strategic answer. You need a strategic decision. The strategic decision is, no, we're going to triple down on the first impression of this guy, because that's the way that we're going to win.
Yeah, so I've been involved in politics for many, many years, and I've never, ever seen polling that says, I want a soft Prime Minister, right? So... Why are they doing it?
I think Trump pulled the rug from underneath him. I think he was riding in on a horse when we were all leaning right, and now he's on a pony, and he's like, what am I doing? How do I do this? And I think the research is saying that he is not as relatable. They're saying, I mean, the Labour has, Tanya Bubblesek has come out and said at one stage he looks like Voldemort. Like they're literally playing off, and it's sad, but they're literally playing off how he looks. He's too hard, he's not relatable to people, and that has been, you can imagine in the research, building and building to the point where they're having to react to it. And what they're doing, if you just unpack what they're doing, so they have him with the glasses on because it softens the look. They often have him without a tie now. You rarely see Albanese. They see him without a tie. They see him with his sleeves rolled up and surrounded by women, trying their best to sort of soften him up a bit. In the beginning of the campaign, he's taking his shoes off, he's going into a mosque, then he's eating yum chow in Queensland. They're doing their best, but I think it's a lost cause. I think the branding of Dutton is already established. It's much easier to make a soft man hard than it is to make a hard man soft.
Yeah,
So let's leave it at that.
Peter Dutton is actually, in person, a charming, caring, decent, self-deprecating, funny man. He genuinely is, but the camera hates him. And he talks in a monotone, and if he was announcing the cure for cancer, it would sound like he's arresting you. It's just unfortunate. You're exactly right. He should be playing to the I'm strong, I've got mongrel in me, and I can get Australia back on track.
For a campaign that seemed to be running on empty, Peter Dutton has spent a lot of time at petrol stations, visiting 14 so far, all to fuel news footage like this.
Peter Dutton offering cheaper petrol, hoping to stop his vote tanking further.
Wow, that is a massive tank up. The petrol policy is all over the road. Pumps are given prime place over politicians. And on social media, fuel is lit. I think you've been huffing fumes. Toby, has Dutton turned the Bowser into a billboard?
Well, he's trying to. What a tragic thing. This has been an election of very small ideas. On one side, you've got tax cuts. On the other side, you've got petrol cuts. You know, say $14 off your tank special, which is a better targeted bribe. They're both bribes, and that's a better targeted bribe because it appeals to people who use a lot of petrol in the outer suburbs and regions where all the marginal seats are. So well done, strategically correct. But soft and swinging voters aren't mugs. They know that this money is money government collects from us. They charge a handling fee for the public service, then they give it back to us. And they sort of go, Neh. And so, again, the polling at the moment is saying, they've got a bribe, they've got a bribe. None are really convincing. It ain't working as a promotional piece.
Why? But they've done a pretty good job of this, though. I mean, it'd be
strategically sound.
It'd be unusual if many Australians were not aware of this policy. It also gives you something to talk about in the pub. They have, I think, relied too much on the media to tell the story around this policy rather than actually advertising it and advertising it hard. So most of what we just saw then was clips from media as opposed to a TV commercial or TikTok or whatever, right? So I do think they may actually have missed a bit of an opportunity to not go a little harder with something which is easy to understand. Yeah. So then if you overlay the commercials that we saw at the start of the show, whereby I am genuinely concerned for my family or for myself because I've got less money, and we are falling behind when it comes to disposable income. We are falling behind when it comes to standard of living. These things are true. It's happening to people every single day. So then you go hard with something like this, and it may just resonate. And if the coalition wins on the weekend, it will be because those two things are, well, they're true for starters, and that it resonates with enough people.
Hannah, what do you think about the 25 cents off petrol?
I don't think enough people know that prices are falling, so I actually think this is almost clever of him because it coincides directly with a price fall anyway. I think that he has spent a lot of time at petrol stations. They haven't been particularly interesting moments. I thought one of the most interesting moments was when he used it as an answer to a question about what he's doing for working women when they're driving the kids around. Flop. But I do think that this on the side of trucks, this on core flutes is really helpful at 25 cents, and it's missing the context that it's a 12-month policy and it's going to save you about $14 a week. So I don't think it's a great piece of policy, but I do think it's being advertised well, even though I find it boring.